अरे भाई so we're right here next to the Yamuna river. Here you can see the Taj Mahal. You can go to the Taj Mahal directly, but I think it's better from here, from the other side of the river, because it's just way calmer. And yeah, so I want to take this video because I travel a lot to India, and I have all these friends, you know, asking me, man, isn't India dangerous? Isn't it too dirty? I'm scared. Am I gonna be scammed? So I just wanted to talk about my experience, you know. I mean, I speak Hindi, but I don't live in India, so I guess my experience differs from different people, obviously. But I would say is, I think traveling to India is something that most people can do, something that is very beneficial. I'll tell you what I've learned when I was in India, all this time, all these travels. I would say, especially from people living outside of Asia or also from poor countries, because many parts of India are still very poor, it is a reality check. And I know that sounds a little bit cliche, like, oh yeah, you learn about the about the world, but it is kind of true. So what I've learned is, or let me tell you a story. I think that's better. I think when I was 11 years old, I took a bus with my sister and my father, and you know, usually take the bus during the night to get your travels done. And I remember we were stopping at a restaurant, but this restaurant was very far away from all the different places, in the middle of nowhere. And I was 11 years old and I had to take a leak. So the toilet, the bathrooms, were a little bit further than the restaurant. And it was very dark. It was basically a little bit in the woods, but I mean just about 20 meters. But I still was scared because it was dark. It was during the night. So I went there with my sister. And I remember coming like to a, not a house, but just like a block. And inside the block there were all these toilets. It was basically abandoned, but there were still lights on there. And what I saw took me a little bit to realize, but I just saw a body. I saw a body laying there on the wall, naked, with his head hanging forward. And at the time I was so, you know, disgusted, but I didn't even realize what happened. And this is an extreme example. I mean, most of you will never, you know, experience this kind of stuff. You'll never see a dead person in India, I would imagine. But you'll have a lot of these experiences, just not in that extreme of a way. So you'll see people, like, even when you go to Agra, like very touristic place, you'll still see disabled people on the street begging for money, and you'll just see that a lot of people have it really hard, you know, in life. And the thing is, what I've had in my experiences, obviously we all know that a lot of people are unfortunate, right? But still, if we don't see it through our own eyes, we kind of ignore it. It's like, yeah, we try to be a good person, we try to, you know, acknowledge, be appreciative of our privilege. But the thing is, as I said, you don't really feel it unless you see it. But then there's also like the other part, of which is the humility, which is the love you get from the people, you know. You get loved, people aren't as isolated. I mean, a lot of these Western countries, the people are very, you know, they're cold, they're thinking too much about their own image. Or what are other people gonna think? Like, no, don't let me talk to my neighbor. I mean, you don't even know your neighbor. A lot of the Western or modern countries. So a lot of people are isolated. That's also why you see a lot of these hippies coming to Goa and India to just, you know, heal spiritually. And I feel like most of the people who come here, those kind of people, I feel like they just haven't had that warmth. They were, most of the time they were in isolated places. There's just the cold places, and there wasn't that human connection. And so when you come to India, you'll experience both sides. You'll see the poverty, you'll see the misfortune of others, but you also see the good side, which, I think makes up for all the bad things that you see. It's just the people are very nice. Most people. Obviously there are scammers. I'm not gonna lie, there are scammers, but most people, they mean you no harm. Most of the time, depending who you are, of course, as a woman it may differ, but most of the times it's very safe. So then obviously there's the dirt in India. India is very dirty, right? And I don't see it being any other way in the next few years, which is very sad, because the people of India inherited such a rich culture. I can't think of a country who has a richer culture than India. But people don't treat their own country with respect. And this is something I find really sad. And when you'll travel around India, you'll have a different type of, oh, my phone's ringing. So my phone just rang. But yeah, let me continue. They inherited such a rich history and culture. They don't respect it. And I don't think it's because they're ignorant. It's just the culture. It's just the mentality of the people. And when you travel around India, when you go to hotels, a lot of the times, the bathrooms aren't clean, the bed sheets aren't washed properly. And this is something that you have to expect coming to India. But if you can kind of, accept the fact that it won't be clean all the time, and accept the fact that you'll see misfortune, then you'll enjoy India, because you'll see the good sides. You'll see the beautiful sides, you'll see the culture, you'll see the food. I mean, that's also a thing with the food, one of the best, kind of the best food is street food, right? But a lot of people that have never been in India, they get sick because of the food. And me too, when I was 11 years old, I was very sick. I had food poisoning. But after that, I've never had food poisoning again. Like now, I kind of can eat street food. Sometimes, the stomach is a bit weird. But I never got food poisoning, even though I saw people, touching the food with their hands, not washed properly, and, whatever. But you get used to it, and it's just a different kind of world. And one thing that I really like about India, which kind of is changing now, unfortunately, but there isn't so much regularity, meaning there are not too many regulations. So when you go to a place like Dharavi, one of the biggest slums in India, you'll see a whole infrastructure, a whole economy just inside of Dharavi and the slums. And people there who want to open a shop, they want to do some business, they don't have to go through all the paperwork, they don't have to go through having a license, etc., which you have to do in a lot of modern countries. And that makes life a little bit difficult. You can just get things done. There are a lot of resources everywhere. You can just get things done, And this is what I also love about India. But क्या बात है? एक minute. Some random guy is calling me up with a motorbike. But yeah, those are the things I like about India, and those are some things that I don't like about India. Just a short video, just had some thoughts, just wanted to capture them. So see you next time.
जाना कहाँ पर है?
क्या बोलते हैं, क्या नाम है?
मेरा नाम पीयूष.
Piyush. He's inviting me for a smoke. ऐसा है, चलो चलो चलो. अब इधर क्या करते हैं? ऐसे ही?
मेरा दुकान है.
अच्छा, दुकान है.
24 घंटे ओपन रहता है.
अच्छा अच्छा.
मैं तो यार तुम्हारा पूरा घुमा दूंगा.
एक्सिट तक क्या?
हाँ.
वो तो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा भाई.
टूरिस्ट लोग आते हैं ना, मैं उसका पूरा हेल्प करता हूँ.
हाँ. हेलो.
इंसान मेरे को याद रखे बस इतना ही बहुत है।
क्या बोलते हैं आप?
मेरे को इंसान याद रखे, मैं तो घुमाता हूँ, इंडिया घुमा हुआ हूँ,
हाँ।
घुमाने के लिए रहता हूँ।
अरे भाई